Can one technique truly change how people perceive you or change how your whole day is going to go? What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Unconscious Communication Secrets. I am truly excited to have you guys join me live. And today we're going to be talking about something called priming, and how this is something that, like I said, is basically, can people really change the way they look at you even before they speak to you? Or can this one technique change the way that your whole day is going to go? And you are going to love today. So first of all, let me give you a quick analogy. I want you to imagine there's a leaf floating in the water, and a ripple that just happens close by. Someone drops something close by, and it literally just changes the direction of the leaf. Okay, it's a little bit of an analogy just to get you kind of thinking about this. So we're going to be talking about something called priming. This is such a crazily powerful technique, and when you understand it, it's gonna blow your mind in terms of how it affects your day. But this is so important because you'll start to see that your conversations are affected by it. Your behavior is affected by it. And you can also change it to go in your favor. So let me give you a couple of examples of where this happens in real life. So let's say you are going to go and hear someone go and talk, and just before you go and hear them talk, you get some bad news. And then you go and hear them talk, and you're not in the best of moods to listen to the person, or you're just not paying attention, or you don't even like what they're saying anymore because of what's happened before. Or someone tells you, or someone tells you before you go and meet someone, they say, oh my God, you are going to love meeting this person. They are going to, it's like when you meet them, you're going to have such an amazing time. This person's so amazing. And then you go there and you're happy even before you meet that person. Or something amazing happens in the morning and your whole day is amazing. Or someone bangs your car before a meeting, and then the meeting goes badly because you walk in and you're not in a good mood. Or perhaps some of you have experienced this. You've had a bad day at work, and then you come home and you argue with your spouse. These are all naturalistic examples of this process that I'm going to be talking to you about, called priming. And it's essentially where the first stimulus affects the second stimulus. So at Yale University in 2008, they did a study, and in this study, they'd have a number of volunteers come in, and a researcher would actually get into the lift with them, and he'd ask them to hold the researcher would ask the person in the lift, "Can you hold my coffee real quick, if you don't mind?" And so the volunteer, unknowing, would just hold the coffee. Now, for half the people, the coffee was cold. For the other half of people, the coffee was warm. And then these volunteers would go into a lab, and here's the crazy thing. Everybody that held a cold coffee was then asked, everybody was asked to read a profile of somebody, just a profile, and they were asked to rate the person, like talk about, what do you think of this person? The person was being described in a profile. And so everybody that had a cold coffee, that was holding a cold coffee, they'd read the same profile, and they'd say, you know what, this person seems a bit cold, a bit irritable, a bit, not nice. And everyone else that held a warm coffee, when they read the same profile, they felt that the person that they were reading about was warm, was kind. This is the same profile. Yale did this study, and all that changed was whether they were holding a cold coffee or a warm coffee. And it changed how they perceived the person. Everybody that held a warm coffee thought the person was a warm person. So, and there's a number of studies about this, but the first stimulus affects the second stimulus. A person held a cold coffee or a warm coffee, they felt that the profile was cold or warm based on what they were holding. Same exact thing. And this happens for all of us to a certain degree. So why not use it to our advantage? Okay? So I'll give you another quick example. Now, this is I urge you, by the way, I know you're watching live, you're at home, you're like, or maybe you're walking around on your phone, etc. If you can try this with me. But I think you'll find that this is such an amazing little tool. So if you can try this with me, okay? What I'd like you to do is just take your finger and point it in front of you, okay? And then what I'd like you to do is just close your eyes and turn back as far as you can. Okay, so I've just turned up until there. You guys can see how far I've turned. Now, watch this. If you close your eyes and I visualize, and if you want to try this, but visualize, see it, see yourself doing it again, and imagine that this time you turn all the way around. And I'm imagining it in my eyes. I'm seeing it in my eye. I visualize turning myself all the way around. And then I visualize turning myself all the way around again. And I imagine myself really flexible, like I'm super yoga man or something like that. Like I'm made out of rubber, and I just imagine it. I imagine this. And then I put my hand out and wow. And literally, I swear to you, no word of a lie, I don't know if you saw, like I went about 30% further. And this is another form of priming. But literally, when we visualize ourselves getting results, we go further. And I hope you tried this. But like, if you haven't, try it later. Just go and point and turn as far back as you can, and then visualize. Prime your mind, and your mind will allow you to go even further. And so I wanted to just give you that demonstration. But literally, all I did was visualize vividly that I could go further, and I went further. So why am I telling you this? In the context of priming, we can start to really affect our day by imagining the right thing. So it's like I said, we've all had those days where something happens in the morning and it's amazing, and our whole day is amazing because of it. Or we've had something happen in the morning and it's a terrible thing, and then our whole day is terrible because of it. And I learned this technique from Tony Robbins. I use this priming, and if you do this intentionally in the morning, where you create a morning ritual where you experience deep gratitude, you start to feel better. You remove anxiety. When you experience true gratitude and you think of all the things that you're grateful for and all the things that you're happy about, and then your whole day, you just melt away a lot of the stress and anxiety, and your day starts to go a little bit better. But also, just like I did this pointing exercise and I went a lot further, what if you started to imagine all the things that you want to achieve, but you see it as being done? You visualize yourself having a very productive day. You prime your mind, just like holding a hot coffee will prime your mind for success. Doing this visualization of all the things that could go right in the day will prime your mind for a very successful day. And so when you understand priming, it's very, very powerful. I know, like when it comes to persuasion, but first I'm talking about you. Right now I'm talking about you and your results. So first of all, very quickly, hey Sherry, great to see you. Thanks for tuning in. And thanks, Aneta. That's the reason I like my coffee hot. Yes. All right, cool. So the where was I? Yes. So in the morning, priming yourself will really transform your day. You want to have great days? Prime yourself in the morning. Now, but it's not just that. What about if you want to do influence and persuasion? If you want to influence and persuade people, before someone comes to a meeting, or before they come to a webinar, or before there's a conversation, if they come to a website and they read about you, that's priming. It's setting expectations. It's understanding them. Or, why is it like if you ask the right kind of question before a meeting, it's going to really transform that meeting. It just by asking one question. There's they did a study, or even showing people different pictures before they enter a meeting even primes them. I think it was a call center. I don't know who did the study, but there's a call center. And what they did was they took 50% of people and they showed 50% of people a brief. And on the brief was a champion, like a few pictures of people that were like winning and champions, etc. Like doing amazingly well. And the other group of people, just the brief itself. That day, the 50% of people that had all these pictures of people winning and doing amazingly well, etc., they outperformed the other group. I can't remember, but it was by a significant amount. I don't want to give you a stat, but let's say like 50% better. I'm guessing the number, but it was significantly. I can say the word. Hold on. Significantly. There we go. Significantly better than the group that didn't have the picture. And all it was a picture, like a couple of pictures of people winning. Imagine that affected a whole training call center for a whole day. That was just a couple of pictures. What if you like visualized for a couple of minutes? What effect would it have on you? Ruhan, thank you so much, man. I truly appreciate you, and it's great to see you on here. Thank you so much for tuning in and for the love. I appreciate you, man. So yeah, so that's priming for you. So it is such a powerful technique, and it will truly transform your life for yourself if you prime yourself in the morning, but also in terms of your influence and persuasion. Being able to ask the right questions, being able to put the right pictures up, or being able to I think one restaurant, or I think it was a supermarket, what they did was they started installing like these not air fresheners, but these things that created a smell of fresh bread. Like it wasn't actual fresh bread. It's like, but because people could smell it as they walked in, the bread price, the bread sales rose. There's so many different ways that you can add priming to your influence and persuasion. But whether it's visually in terms of a picture, whether it's auditorily when you're asking someone something, whether it's smelling something, etc. But do you see that just doing these little things can really transform your influence? But also, if you apply it yourself in the morning, can transform how you feel and how you perform throughout the day. So direction changes you can find. All you need to do is prime the mind. Direction changes you can find. All you need is to prime the mind. So thank you guys very much. Sherry's saying, we cabin crew always prime our mind before flights. Would you get a tea or coffee? Thank you, Sherry. That's right. I have no idea what 7U means, Aneta. I'm guessing Sarah's taking the phone, but Sarah, if you're watching, thank you as well. Oh, wait. Yeah, I think Sarah's got the phone. All right, cool. If you are watching, Sarah, thank you. I appreciate all of your comments. All right, cool. Thank you, guys. And I appreciate all of you. Lots of love. And I will see you on another episode real soon. By the way, introduction to NLP for those of you that are interested in discovering more about the mind and the power of the mind and how you can use it to improve your own performance and those of others. On Wednesday, uaenlp.com, you can check out it's a free webinar, and you can discover how you can take your mind performance to that next level. So other than that, hold on, let's go back. That's the phrase of the day. Direction changes you can find. You just need to prime the mind. Oh, hold on. Janelle Warby, thinking we need to prime the mind in lockdown in Melbourne. Yes, completely. Actually, before I go, that's a beautiful, beautiful point there. So why I talk about this a lot when some people come to me and ask about stress and anxiety and how to manage stress and anxiety, especially during these times. And Janelle, you raised an amazing point. During lockdown, this is such an important thing to do. In fact, we do this daily. Like myself and my wife, every night before I go to sleep, I prime my mind so that when I'm sleeping, the last thing that I'm read is not news, because news gets you worried. It creates anxiety, and then when you're sleeping, you start to process what's happened through the day, especially what you just watched before you go to bed. So before I go to bed, I always do gratitude. Myself, my wife, it's a very good habit. We always think of all the things that we're grateful for. So you can so it's so important in terms of helping yourself, because there are tough times at the moment. People are going through tough times. And so if you start to think of what you're grateful for, even during the hardest of days, just before you go to bed, then your mind starts to process that when you sleep. If you prime your mind just before you go to bed with the news and all the things that are going wrong, or all the number of cases that have risen, or some of the tragedies, etc., if that's the last thing that you put before you sleep, in your mind, you start to process that while you sleep. And then for some reason, you just wake up and you don't even know why you've woken up, and you just feel a little agitated, a little anxious, a little stressed. And so that's a huge it's a huge point, and something I'm very passionate about training people or sharing with people. Prime your mind before you go to bed, especially, and when you wake up in the morning. When you wake up in the morning, again, doing very similar stuff, gratitude, etc., and visualizing success, and that's going to really allow you to have a much better sleep, have much better days. So thank you very much, Janelle, on that point. And guys, I truly appreciate you. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you on another episode very, very soon. Peace out. One love. I'll see you guys soon.